It's been a focus of our team, regardless of who we played in the exhibition, was just like how well do we keep playing through some mistakes? Because early in the season, it seems like how you deal with disappointment, maybe yourself not playing good, and how quickly can you focus back on what the team needs us to play well. Because you've practiced all summer on dribbling, shooting, and then all of a sudden you get in games and maybe you don't get to dribble and shoot. And then it's about the team. So just shifting that mindset. And it's different when you play in front of people. I mean, when you start playing in front of people, then it's about, I've worked on all these things, now I want to show everybody what I can do, but really how do you emphasize what the team needs in order to win? And my favorite part was we made plenty of mistakes, but I felt like as the game went on, like we stayed aggressive and we actually got better. And my two favorite plays of the exhibition was Pop is at the rim and then he helps and then he gets a deflection, then they stop playing and he saves it on the sideline and we make a layup when the game's on the line. And I thought it just exemplified everything we want to be. Like it wasn't perfect, but like how do you keep playing and be the tougher team? And I thought we were at the end.
During the exhibition, were you able to maybe throw some different lineups out there, throw some different combinations out there, and maybe kind of see how different guys play with each other?
Yeah, we did play 10 guys, and foul trouble dictated a lot of that, right? And maybe some of the combinations we didn't plan to see as early, but foul trouble helped us get a lot of different looks.
Coach, I know heading into this offseason, you already kind of touched on it, but when you're preparing with the non-conference opponents and scheduling those and trying to put maybe like some different schemes out there for you guys to face, what do you expect out of conference?
Well, let's first start with Jared von Rosenberg. I don't know if you've seen, but his wife had a stroke, and they've got young kids, and he's actually a dear friend of ours. So I think first and foremost, in speaking about Commerce, like my heart goes out to Jarrett because his wife is recovering from that. She's got a long road of rehab in front of her. And so my heart, first and foremost, is for him and his family. There's actually a GoFundMe out there in support of his family and all the things that they're going to have to medically take care of. So that's kind of honestly where my heart goes first, is for Jarrett and his wife and their kids. But second, in regards to the game, they're physical. They play really hard. We've played against his teams in the past. They just have a way of competing, and it's kind of the way Jarrett played. He's just tough. And so I would anticipate them being an aggressive team, that they'll push tempo and play hard. And we're going to have to share the ball and take care of the ball in order to be good. And I do think our advantage will be around the rim. How do we not panic and get good shots against them? Because I do think we'll have the opportunity to score. It's just how do we want to score and being able to recognize that. But they're going to be a quality opponent, and we anticipate a really tough physical game.
And I asked Chance this as well, but obviously you're getting ready for your first home game. But did you guys kind of take that? I mean, I know there are a lot of Tech fans. Did you guys kind of approach that as an away game? I mean, I saw the tight huddles, everything that you want on an away game environment.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you're not in the United Supermarkets arena, it's an away game, right? Neutral, whatever. I mean, your mindset is like, let's stay connected, and you want to do that no matter what, and that's how you win. But definitely, it gave us an opportunity to travel, get in a hotel, get a game plan prepared, and it'll prepare us for those first road neutral games that we have up in the Bahamas.
Coach, kind of back on that scrimmage, seemed like y'all shot the threes quite at a high clip. Just what went into that? Do you think that's a strength of this team going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it from the beginning. I think this team shoots the ball well. And if we can create opportunities for these guys, especially early in transition, we actually were 8 for 9 from 3 in transition, which is a crazy number. If we do that, we'll have an opportunity to win a lot of games. But I think that all happened because of one person, honestly. It was Warren. Warren did an unbelievable job running, and they run too. But they converged on him and really packed the paint, and that opened up the opportunity. So everybody wants to talk about the guys that made threes. The assist guy was Warren Washington, and he really created a lot of attention at the rim in transition. I thought he was the difference in us making threes.
You were talking about playing in transition, and I think it was the highest point total for your team, the team that you've coached in the last 2 seasons. Just the pace that you guys are going to play at, is it expecting to be higher than, I guess, you've coached before?
I think that's what everybody wants to talk about. So I honestly will hope that we can do both. that if we can run and we can put people on their heels, but you know this, in order to be really effective running, you got to get stops. So like that's where we're going to have to find that ground. Like how do you put pressure on people? How do you get stops so that you can do it? And it will be an emphasis to try to make sure that we get quality shots. But really it's about if you can keep pressure on people constantly. People want to talk about shooting it quick. Really it's about let's make people defend us. And we do have good depth, and I think people saw it. I mean, we got deep into our bench because of foul trouble, but I thought we had a stretch run there where even with some of our better players on the bench, we were able to, increase the lead. So that's where I'm excited about with this team. We got a lot of different combinations and pushing tempos about us putting pressure on people and keeping pressure on people.
Last one for me, just I saw from some of the video that was taken over there that Joe Toussaint seemed to do a pretty good job guarding the ball against Wade Taylor. Just what can you say about his defensive ability going forward?
Yeah, Joe's had the experience of playing in the Big Ten, playing in the Big 12, and he knows the nuances of ball pressure and how to play the game without fouling. That's where we struggled against A&M. And so his experience really is beneficial. He's physical, but he also knows how to move his feet and be effective without making mistakes and fouling.
Before the exhibition, we weren't really sure if you were going to try to get everybody in a kind of game-like system. Is it safe to say that was kind of like your game-like rotation mentality for this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was close. I mean, obviously foul trouble dictated some changes in timing, but I thought it was a good opportunity for us to see what the lineups look like. I do think we'll make some changes, but in regards to the game, I thought it was what we hoped.
Anybody that maybe didn't get as many minutes as you might have played, that you're hoping to get some more action, especially these first couple of non-conference games?
Yeah, not really. I think it's what we got a chance to see was like who was playing well, right? And if you asked me in scrimmages prior to that and inter-squad scrimmages, Darian Williams had scored and played better, and he didn't play as well in that because of foul trouble, and you could tell it kind of took him out. And then Warren Washington in our exhibition games had 7 baskets. I mean, our scrimmage against UTEP. So I think those two guys can play a larger role as needed. And that shows you, I think, the strength of this team because we had Chance play obviously great and Lamar play great, and I think everybody anticipated Pop having an opportunity to be a focal, but everybody else, I think, didn't know who was it going to come from as far as scoring. And I think you saw our versatility in regard to that.
Just talking about Pop, how important is his role this whole season, setting the stage for y'all? He's been here on and off the court.
Yeah, the one thing I love about Pop, he's competitive, right? And I think what I loved about the exhibition, and I've mentioned this, he missed his first 2 shots. And I think those are things that can kind of go, it's not my night. And I think where he's matured, and even in the last couple months, is like I think he had a focus to like what do we need to do to win. I really do. I mean, I think sometimes you can get in those environments, you can get disappointed, and then you can go like I'm not playing good. And that's what I loved about it. I mean, I think we missed our first 5 threes, 4 threes, and then all of a sudden we went on the first 7 threes. Yeah, thank you, Nate. So when you miss that many, I try not to think about the negatives. But when you miss that many, you can go look like, this isn't going to work out for us tonight. But that's what I loved about our team and Pop specifically because we kept taking the right shots. That's when we looked our best.
Coach, last time we spoke was at the Red Raider Club luncheon. Later that day, Bob Knight passed away. Can you just talk about, I know you talked about the impact on your life before and the school, and just talk about that.
Yeah, in coaching, we all have people that you look to, and I think me personally, I revered Coach Knight and just really had a tremendous amount of respect. I think 2 stories. One, I was the head coach at Midland College, and I get a heads up from actually Pat Knight and Beard, and they say that that Coach Knight's going to call you and he wants to talk about one of your players. So, at that time you're like, what's this going to be? I mean, I didn't know. So Coach Knight calls, and I'm telling you, it felt like I was talking to the kindest person I ever met. And that's where in your head you kind of see the fire of him coaching, and you see his demeanor. He's calm, but he also has an edge. So you don't know what it's going to be like. The first conversation was just complimentary and awesome. And then I loved, there's 2 things. One, it was he came to see a player, and the player actually posted this and said, he talked to him after the game, and he said, you know, our staff really likes you, but I'd like you better if you cut your hair. You know, and I just thought, like, he always had a way of, like, encouraging you, but, like, leveling you at the same time. And that's such a great quality, I think, as a coach, to be able to push and pull, and that he loved education. Another one, Jesus Arenas, who was a player here that we actually recruited. So my first game in this building when I was the director of ops was against Indiana, and Coach Knight brought his team in here. So we all didn't know, you know, what to expect, but they were so tough and they shared the ball so well. So you left the game, we actually